here. Anyway, we have an incredible vision cast lined up for you. This is something we do every single week, and we're going to share with you tips from the very best. You know, who's doing what, how can you succeed, how can you get to where you want to go with your secret business. That's the objective here. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what to do with this family business, right? So in any event, we are traveling to Nagoya, and every single week, no matter where we are, we plug in. It's 11 a.m. here in Japan, and we're on our way to another event where we're meeting some people. We're going to be doing some wild parties, some sit down, same things that you're doing, whatever country you're in, whether you're in Canada or Mexico or the United States, Australia, South Korea, or here in Japan. We plug in every week, so we get the best information from the top, from the source. We're going to be hearing from people who are rank advancing, people who are achieving mission rank advance, who are achieving their mission 5, mission sponsor 5, sponsor 20. You're going to be hearing from people consistently, giving you tips and giving you advice on how you can do it, so that way you can maximize your success. And the strange thing about our business is typically when we first get involved, we get involved by somebody that more than likely is brand new like we are, and they don't know that much yet, and that's okay, that's good. But there's got to be a source that every week they can come to, and we can learn from the top. What accelerated my personal success in this business was being around the top leadership, listening to them, learning from them, getting the tips, and then applying. And every you do it, and you come back and you get the information, and it's called plan, do, review. You're going to plan, you're going to go do, and then you can review. And this is going to serve as a gyroscope to keep us on track, to keep us on target, to get us to our goals. And two of the people I want to go to right now that you're going to be able to hear from are people who achieved mission rank advancement. I'm proud of them so much. Dave and Christina Cummings just hit gold. I know they're on the way to triple advancement with platinum. Dave and Christina, please let us all know who you are, and how you got started with Seacret, and what's the secret to your secret success.
Well, hopefully you can hear us. My name is Chris, is my better half, David Cummins, and we're out here in Winnipeg, Canada, and we got 2 years ago with our amazing sponsor, Derek Gilson. And what I do in terms of my background, for the past 13 years, I've been working at the RCMP. So I work day shifts and night shifts, which are not all that much fun, because it turns out when I'm sleeping, my family is awake and vice versa. So it doesn't really give for a whole lot of family time. And you were just talking about family life, of course, right? Our 2 boys I wanted to be able to see, and I wanted to be able to become healthier and not work night shifts in a negative, because policing is not that exciting in terms of happy thoughts and things like that. So we were very lucky, David and I. I'll let him share his story, but we were very lucky to be introduced to this, and it's truly changed our lives. I literally just got back from a sit down and just started helping another agent get started. So it's really, really exciting times, and I want to thank everybody who's helped us, our team, our family, and of course Mr. Derek Gilson and Mr. Joshua Denny.
Yeah, guys, my background is definitely not skincare. I'm not a dermatologist or an esthetician or anything like that. My background, guys, is actually automotive. I grew up in the car industry. I went to school, graduated high school, and then went straight to work in the car industry with my father, different facets of a dealership, and eventually, at 35 years of age. But retirement up here in Canada, I don't know what it's like in the United States, but up 65, maybe 67, depending on who you talk to. And at age 35, I had hit the top of our company, and I thought, your salary and had all the perks of a car dealership. I didn't want to do it for another 30 years. I have 2 small children, 2 boys that mean the world to me, that are 9 and 7, and they're really my why. It's why I do this, why I get out of bed, why I go out and do all the sit downs, why I do all the traveling, why I take all the no's, and we just kids. And we've been blessed with Seacret. Seacret found us just a little bit over 3 years ago with Mr. Derek Gilson and Mr. Joshua Denny and Isaac and John Malott and everybody I met right at the start. And we are just blessed really to be part of this community. And gold, we're not next, and ruby and diamond and beyond.
You guys are doing such a phenomenal job. We're so very proud of you. I can say that on behalf of everyone at corporate. I know there's a bunch of diamonds watching you right now at the Diamond Retreat, saying, "Hey, come on, Dave, Christina, let's go." I know you guys are going to be there soon. You bring so much value to the community, and we're honored and privileged to have you on the Vision Cast tonight. We look forward to seeing you on more Vision Casts coming up here in the near future.
Thank you very much. And thank
By the way, real quick, just before I let you guys go, what are some tips that you'd share? I mean, here you guys are, you're a family, you're building the business together, and you're a married couple doing it. What are some tips that you would say for other people that are in a similar situation that they could do to help them get the success that obviously you're enjoying right now?
Really, Josh, I mean, it just comes down to sacrifice, understanding as a couple where you're going, having the same goals and the same dreams really is what I honestly believe it comes down to. We've made some sacrifice, some of these short-term sacrifices for that long. So I would say, if you can get your spouse on board, get them using the products. We're a product of the product. Our children use the products. So get everybody on the products and, get out there and just share the opportunity. And, Christina still works. I do this full time today, Seacret, but it's just getting out there and really hammering the pavement and understanding where we're going really is what it comes down to.
And that was Casey Call's advice back when we first started, when he was actually here, which is what I drilled him about. Well, how do you do it with a family? And sometimes you just have to sacrifice a little bit right now for the long time. And that's what we're about. Helping others.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys are doing phenomenal. Very proud of you once again. And I look forward again having you on the next Vision Cast, or Vision Cast coming up real soon. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks. Thank you.
A couple other people that have actually achieved mission rank advance last week: Adelphia Tabun, or Tabin. Excuse me if I mispronounced your name. I apologize about that. Crystal and Dave and Bowie, Norman Lay, Krill Unre from Canada. Kyril, again, I apologize. I'm going to get to know you and say your name properly, but I appreciate your guys' commitment and your success. Congratulations on that. We also have people who achieved a mission sponsor over the last week. Now, if your name wasn't called, it's just because you probably got in at the last minute. We haven't confirmed everything. Commissions likes to go through everything and confirm it. So your name will be mentioned next week. If you know you did it and you're going, hey, what about me? Don't worry about it. We're going to make sure we recognize you for your hard work, but we'll do that next week. Here's some of the names for mission sponsor. Of course, we have this huge mission right now. Go out there and help 5 people get in the business between now and the Ignite convention, and you've achieved mission sponsor. We also have mission sponsor 2, which is 20. That's for the people who really go out there and make something big happen. Mission 20, and we actually heard from someone just last week on Mission 20 Dallas who was on. So again, you guys don't want to miss these Vision Casts. Every week you're going to hear from somebody new. You're going to be hearing from the people that are doing it. These people who achieved mission sponsor: Anthony Tran, Pong Nguyen, and Casey and Elena Call. Red Diamond agents, cabinet ambassadors. They're not resting on their laurels. They're making it happen. They're going out and doing it. They accomplished mission sponsor as well. Congratulations, Casey and Elena Call. But guys, your name can be read next week. All you got to do is decide that you're going to make it happen, that you're going to go out there and do follow the process, follow the system. And the person that I'm going to be able to introduce to you to share with you presentation skills is one of the very best, one of the absolute very best in the business. I can tell you, and you'll know after listening to him, because he understands the presentation. He understands how to deliver content in such a way that people are compelled to at least find out more information or just make a decision to get started. And that's what I love about this man. Is a student, a incredible student of this profession. He's one of the very best. He's climbing through the ranks. I know he's going to be our next $500 million ring earner here real soon. Is our newest cabinet ambassador and Blue Diamond agent, who's going to go through the presentation skills. Joe Valenzuela, man, I got my notepad up here on my phone. I'm ready to take some notes. It's an honor to have you here on the first Vision Cast, that we're getting some of your valuable time. I know you've been traveling all over the place. You're at the Diamond meeting right now. So number one, for the people who don't yet know you, if you could go through your background and then go into your topic, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely, Josh. I'm happy to be here, man. Definitely excited to get a chance to see you guys. Sorry, I'm out here at the home office in Arizona, and man, absolutely incredible. We're at this diamond fly-in right now, where the top diamonds in the company are here and have flown in some of their leadership, and it's just incredible. Gearing up for the Ignite convention here, which everybody's talking about and what we're going to be launching. And And just it's the atmosphere here is just electric. Everybody is just excited about what's going to happen in the world of Seacret. Everybody's been getting their 5 or get 5 promotion and get 20 for the iPad watch, which I'm wearing right now, which I'm excited about. But it's been killer. We've just been having a blast all day, and I'm excited to get a chance to talk with you guys tonight. Those of you guys that haven't got a chance to meet yet, I'll share with you my quick story. I've been with Seacret actually for 3 years. I grew up in San Diego. I'm born and raised out there in Southern California. During college, I started my own company doing auto detailing, not because I was passionate about manual labor. I knew it was something I could do. And ended up being fairly successful with it. I ended up getting a job teaching at a junior college at 20 years old, which I thought was a really big deal. And between running my company and teaching at junior college was where I found network marketing. And it basically was kind of like a way to cheat the system of being able to still hang out with my friends, make a big income, travel the world, but not have to clock in 40 hours a week for a boss. And that's why I got started in entrepreneurship to begin with. So I ran with this thing and jumped both feet in. And Seacret's one of those things where my first exposure to it wasn't through network marketing; it was through the kiosk. So I knew the products were legitimate. I knew that the company and the leadership was legitimate, and I just ran with this thing, and I've had the privilege of having you as a friend, Josh, for a long time now, and it's just been one of these things where the $460 in my first week by plugging into the company system and trainings like this, learning how to go out there and get into living rooms and share this with people and put products on people, that made me my first $460. That turned into that first month over $2,000, and it's never been that bad since. Within 4 months, over $10,000 a month. Within 9 months, over $20,000 a month in income. Our best month in our second year was over $60,000. Our best month in our third year was over $100,000, which is just crazy. I remember you talking to me and telling me, the bar is making that $100,000 in a month, and I never really, saw myself, able to make that kind of money and believed in myself. But when you believed in me, it was one of those things where I started to kind of borrow your belief, and it's been crazy to get a chance to not only earn that type of income, now travel the world. I was just last week in Fiji, learn at a financial seminar. We got a chance to learn from some of the top financial minds in the world. Paul Tudor Jones spoke, actually, one of the top hedge fund managers in the world. This gentleman made $10 million last year every day. So just the caliber of people that I've been able to associate with and learn from because of this incredible profession and what we've been doing. It's absolutely amazing.
Did you say $10 million a day?
A day, every day. Every single day last year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so just getting a chance to learn from people like that, and Michael Smorch, it's just some incredible guys, and get a chance to spend time with people like that. It's just absolutely incredible. So the future's looking at Seacret, especially now, it's like it's a totally different ballgame. I look at over the evolution of our company over the last 3 years. It's a different ballgame today. We have honed in, from product lines to marketing materials to corporate leadership. I'm here at the home office right now. I remember when we were we were excited about having a receptionist. And it's like, wow, our office has a receptionist. And it was like, this is crazy. And then now to see we've taken over almost every single floor in this entire building, and having wings of customer service, and it was like somebody answering the phones that was a distributor before. It's just crazy. So I'm so excited. And Josh, I know you're out in Japan right now, and I haven't got a chance to spend much time with you. I'm excited. I know you got a lot going on out there, and I'd love to get a chance to basically get a chance to help the field move in the right direction, and decide where to put the ball downfield.
Well, Joe, one of the things that I think, there's many things that you do phenomenal, but one of the best things that I love when I listen to you speak and I listen to you in the trenches, because I've had the opportunity of watching you actually really build, and it's your presentation skills. And I think that so many people right now, they want to present, they want to be able to communicate in such a way that they can compel people to at least take a further look or walk them down the trail. And you are really a master at that. Truly, you have the psychology behind it, you understand the patterns, and maybe you could do a little training just on presentation skills and what it takes to truly deliver quality content that's compelling and will help someone walk down the road to success here at Seacret.
Absolutely. Heck yeah. Love to get a chance to chat about that. First and foremost, guys, grab a notepad and pen, because I'm gonna spit fire at you for a second. I'm gonna give you my disclaimer up front. I talk way too fast when I'm excited about something. I talk with my hands, and I'm just gonna deliver a lot of content. And I encourage you, trust your hand over your memory, because I'm gonna just go for everything. Take notes on it now, and then debate it later. But here's the thing, right? You got to understand, right? It's just kind of the first thing in presenting is understanding your audience. You got to know your audience. And there's certain things that I'll do in a group setting that I won't do on a personal one-on-one presentation, and vice versa, right? There's something I'll be able to do one-on-one that I won't do in a group. And first and foremost, I'll speak to both of those types of presentations. I want to say this for your notes. The secret to really getting wealthy in this profession, in this industry, is because is one, presenting to many. Right? The way that the way that I was so successful so fast inside of Seacret was my first night, not my second night, not next week. Night one, I had my 3 best friends over to my house, and I poured my heart out, and I played with the products with them. I said, listen, here's why I'm building this. Right? Simon Sinek, if you haven't watched the TED Talk from Simon Sinek of Start With Why, he talks about the best companies in the world. Right? Don't talk about what they do or how they do it even. They talk about why they do it. If you look at Apple, I'm a big Apple fan. I know they don't make the best products in the world anymore. I think Samsung's the S6 is like smoking them officially, and it breaks my heart to say that because I love Apple. But I got the Apple phone, the Apple Watch. I'm talking to you right now on a PowerBook. Here's the difference, though, right? If you remember Apple's marketing campaign in the very beginning, their whole campaign was think different. Right? And it wasn't like, okay, our processors are faster, right? The reason why Apple today is the most valuable company in the world, even though Microsoft has more market share than Apple, when you think about it, the overwhelming majority of the entire world uses a PC, and yet Apple is the most valuable company in the world. How the heck is that even possible? Right? We got to understand, Apple did not go out there and try to go out there and gain the massive market share. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Right? They said in a world of PCs where what everybody's doing, right? We're people who don't just go along with the, we're outside the box. We go against the grain. We're rebels. We're the misfits. We think different. And if you think different like we do, then you might want to buy our phones, right? And just that right there grabbed a very specific audience. And I can tell you guys, in talking to your audience, you got to listen twice as much as you talk. I love what my mentor taught me. He said, God gave us 2 ears and only 1 mouth, because you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. And when I was getting prospected, and the way that I've learned to prospect is, first and foremost, before I start a presentation, especially if it's one-on-one or if it's in a living room, I am half an hour early talking to my guests in the living room. That's what I was starting to say, is that in a living room, that's where the bread and butter of this thing is. It's the only reason why I meet with somebody one-on-one at a Starbucks is to get into their network and be able to present to their group. Ask yourself, do you want to build this business with addition, or do you want to build it with multiplication, right? With multiplication, where 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. If you do one-on-one and then go to one-on-one and then one-on-one, 1 becomes 2 and then 2 becomes 3 and then 3 becomes 4 and then 4 becomes 5. You never get that multiplication effect in your business. So the only reason I meet with one person is to get to their group of people, and then I sign people up and I get to their groups of people, and I get to their groups of people. I can tell you, if you want to get more results with less effort, make living rooms the staple of how you build this business. So I'm going to talk about both, but in both case scenarios, if I'm meeting, my bread and butter is in a living room, I'm there half an hour early. I am doing the salt and oil demo stations. I'm doing the 5 wows in 5 minutes and getting everybody, but I'm talking to them. I'm saying, dude, so how do you know Johnny, right? How do you know your person, your friend here? If they're my guests, I'm saying, dude, how's work been? How's the family doing? And I'm just kind of looking for ammo of really what I know is going to be their hot buttons, right? Because all of us are motivated by 4 things, whether it's making money or helping other people, or all the facts and figures of what gets us excited about the company moving forward, or just having fun. I can tell you, everybody needs more fun in their life. This business is one of the best places for it. So I'm looking for their hot buttons, right? Maybe they're caught up in the day-to-day grind. Maybe they're just not making enough money and bills need help with. Maybe family time is suffering a little bit. Maybe they're spending too many hours at work. Maybe they just don't have enough, maybe they feel like they're spinning their wheels. Whatever it is, I'm looking how Seacret can be the answer to what they're looking for. And I'm listening. I'm not just throwing up all over them and just trying to pitch my opportunity. I'm just listening and listening and listening. This is where I'll make the transition. Whether we're starting in a living room, I'll say, hey, well, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. We'll get everybody together and we'll start the presentation. The presentation is very simple. You're basically going to cover some basic fundamental things. The first thing I'm going to teach you guys to do is to share your 30-second story. By the way, guess how long a 30-second story takes to share? 30 seconds, right? I can tell you guys, I'm in a room right now with some of the diamonds. I know none of them are watching this, so I can share this, right? One of the things that some of us were asked to do is share a 30-second story, and some of the people were like 4 minutes in, like telling you, when I was 8 years old, here's what happened to me, and here's when I knew that my life was going to change forever. And it was like, okay, this is not what a 30-second story looks like. 30-second story is comprised of a few things. It's your name. It's your background. It's why you took a look at the opportunity. What this is the pain. It's the universal pain of what was missing in your life, and then really what you saw in this opportunity that it's like this could fill it, right? And then it's how much, how fast, really what happened for you. It's your 30 to 90-day story. And then lastly, it's what it means to you now. What it means to you now is a new possibility that's now available for you that wasn't available before. So real briefly, I'll give you mine. Name and background, my name is Joe Valenzuela. My background, I was doing auto detailing, right? Easy peasy. Reason why I took a look is, I don't know if you've ever known anybody that's done manual labor before, but it's not the most prestigious career, and it's not something you want to do for the next 40 years. All right, so I was open. Reason, what I saw, right, is a way to go out there and actually make an income, but not have to go work out in the hot sun. What happened for me, I followed the company's system. I went out there and made $460 my very first week in the company, following the company's system. By the way, I edified the company's system, my story. And here's what it means to me now. What it really means to me now is I can see that I'm going to be able to build a business that when I go out there and have a family of my own, I'm not going to have any man or woman that put their thumb on me and tells me that I have to be somewhere. I'll never have that feeling on Monday morning ever again where somebody tells me I have to do something, right? Put it all together. You can time me on it. Ready? I'm going to go for it. Hey, Joe Valenzuela, my background, auto detailing. Reason why I took a look is, manual labor is terrible. Anybody who's done it knows. And I was looking for a way to just, be able to work in air conditioning and work on my own schedule. And I saw Seacret, followed the company's system, made $460 my very first week. I turned to a couple thousand that first month and a six-figure income in that very first year. What it really means to me now is getting the chance to just dictate my own life and have the freedom I've been looking for since I was a little kid and getting to play all the day. 28 seconds. Look at that. Bam. Look at it. You got some pain and you got some pleasure, and that's really what it is. Now, diving into the presentation, I'll tell you guys this right now, is you start with your story. You start with, hey, man, here's where I was at. Here's what I was looking for. And I don't know if this is for you or not, but I can tell you, here's what's happened for me. And here's what our company is doing, right? And I say, here's the story of our company. Here's where we got started as a company, right? And then you go through your presentation, whether it's your 5 wows in 5 minutes. I'm telling you this right now. If your mouth is moving, you better be pointing at something, right? If you're the person who's just out there talking about Seacret and you're not using a tool, you're not showing them the 5 wows presentation, you're not showing them maybe a flip chart or going through something where they can say, okay, I can take that with me and go read it to somebody else too, you're messing up, right? If you might be the best talker in the world, you can sell ice to an Eskimo, but most people aren't like that and don't want to be like that. So if everybody thinks that they have to be this smooth talker and they can't have a tool to just read from, you're gonna mess up. So I go out there and I use a tool for sure. From here, I'm gonna go through the company, which is just the story of the company. I'm gonna talk about the products. I'm gonna give you guys this. Here's the thing: you gotta find out what the problem is. If you're gonna sell anything in the world, you've got to identify a problem, right? And the problem is, here's the thing: we sell skincare, right? So the question that people got to ask themselves, and that your prospects are asking you, is, why should I care about skincare? Why are you talking to me? Why should I care? And I tell them in literally less than a minute. I tell them, here's what skincare is, guys. 50 years ago, right, when people thought when you get old your teeth fall out, and then we learned if you actually floss and brush, you can keep them, right? That's a smart idea. Right? The reality is skincare, people thought, when you get old, you just get wrinkly and that's what happens. Right? But it just turns out not the case. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever met somebody and you found out how old they were and you were blown away with how good they looked? Right? I mean, what was it about that person that made them look so good? It was their skin, was there? Maybe on the flip side of it, you guys have ever met somebody and found out how old they are and you're like, man, what happened to you in your past life? Like, you've been through a few lifetimes already. You know what I mean? It's their skin, your skin. Taking good care of your skin is important. And boom, in 60 seconds they understand, okay, here's why I should pay attention. Right? I want to, I've met people that look good for a long time, well past their age, and there's a couple key things that go into it. Cleaning your skin, exfoliating, and then putting good stuff on it. And that's the answer for it, right? And then I dive into the products and what makes them so unique and different. The Dead Sea, the story of the Dead Sea is the best in the world. It's easy to go out there and share, and it's all right there inside of your book. In addition to that, right, you're going to have the compensation model. Here's all somebody really needs to understand in the compensation plan, right, is number one, okay, how is it going to work for me, right? You're either going to get involved as either as a customer or an agent. And here's what I say. I'll take us. I lead with the business. I lead with the business, and if somebody doesn't want to do my business, they don't want my opportunity, and I say, here's what's awesome. At the very least, try these products out. Commit to your best skin, because you have nothing to lose, right? If you don't love these products, you can get 100% of your money back. Send back an empty bottle to the company. Not only will they pay for your product, go out and refund your money, they'll actually pay for your shipping costs back to the company. That's not a company who's confident in their products, their money where their mouth is. What are we doing here, right? That's incredible. I lead with the business. I fall back on the products if they don't want to be in the business. So from there, I'm like, here's how the agents work, right? All of us go out there and we either find customers or we find agents, right? And that's really it. Here's how we get paid on the customers, right? Retail, preferred customers. Here's how we get paid on the agents: team commissions, check match, performance bonuses, right? Very, very simple. And so as you decide to become an agent in our company, here's what it's going to mean. But here's the most important thing I want you to understand. When I talk about the compensation plan, what I really do is I just tell stories. Right? I tell stories that say, hey, retail. Here, if any of you guys that have watched my presentation before, you've seen me talk about retail. And the way that I talk about retail is I say, listen, when I was first looking at this, company, I realized, I suffered from acne growing up. Several of my friends suffered from acne, so I knew there was a few people I could help out with products. In fact, eczema. My friend Weston, growing up, suffered from eczema. I had a few other friends that I knew had eczema. Yeah, but that was about it, right? I didn't know, I wasn't a skincare person. I wasn't like a dermatologist or an esthetician. I didn't have this expansive database of people that were into skincare. I just like a handful of people off the top of my head that I thought would probably be interested in the product. And then from the business standpoint, I thought, okay, I know everybody that wants to make more money, and if everybody wants to make more money, then I can at least show it to them, and I'll grab some of them. And so here's what I want you to understand. I tell people just like this: retail, I knew I would be able to retail a little bit of product, but here's what I did know. I knew retailers. I had friends of mine that were in the beauty industry. I had friends of mine that were makeup artists, massage therapists, hairdressers. And what's funny is I got a chance to show them the business, and they were incredible retail. My friend Shira Babai owns a wellness center in Encinitas, 2 of them now, and she retails the heck out of these products. She makes a ton of money in retail. I make money in our third area of just team commissions. You notice how it's a story about Shira Babai? I take it off of me, and so everybody goes, oh, wow, I know a hairdresser. Wow, I know a makeup artist, right? You understand, facts only tell, but stories sell, right? If you look at Jesus, the way that he always sold everybody about, what we were doing is he told us, spoke in parables, right? He could have easily said, well, here's how the gospel is going to work. You're going to tell some people about it, and some people are going to be into it, some people won't. But he said, no, let me tell you the story of the seeds and the sower and the birds and the thorns. He told it in story form, so it's stuck with everybody. That's why you want to tell stories. Now, the reality of it is the second thing is preferred customers. I say, listen, I love discounts on everything. I go to Costco for the free stuff. We have a program that's really modeled after like Amazon Prime, where it has rewards built into it. Obviously, the better customer you are, the more rewards you get. And you get, not only you get massive discounts, 50 to 70% off all the products, but in addition to that, you're eligible to get, free shipping and birthday gifts and anniversary gifts and all this cool stuff. So, and actually, you can get it for free as a preferred customer. You get 4 preferred customers, enroll 4, pay no more. As agents, you're going to find somebody. Here's the way I say it. I say, inevitably, you're going to find people like you and I. Notice I include them on that. You're going to find people like you and I that are saying, you know what? I know people that have skin, people that want to look better, and people are making money being the person that refers people to this. I refer people to stuff anyways for free, whether it's a good movie or a good restaurant. We all naturally kind of refer stuff, even without thinking about it. If I can get paid for doing that, that's a no-brainer, right? And so as I introduce people that are become agents, I can make up to 10 to 15% on the team that I go out there and build. And it's like, here's what that would look like, right? As you start to build this, right, you're going to build a left team and a right team, and everybody builds a left team and a right team. You're the person that's sharing it with you. And here's what's so exciting. Whoever gets the top spot in your organization is going to lock up that spot, get the top spot. And so timing is critical, right? Because even if you wait 24 hours or 48 hours and the person who's sharing this with you happens to show it to somebody else before you sign up, they're going to get the top spot. So whoever snags up the top available spots in the organization are going to lock it in. Everybody that gets shown henceforth get a 50-50 shot of them going underneath one of those two teams, right? So timing is critical. Make sure that you lock up the top spot in the organization today, not just for the people that your person shows, but the person that is in their support team, their support team, their support team, right? And you can make anywhere from a few $100s a month to a few $100s a week to a few $100s a day to a few $100s an hour. You can make up to $25,000 a week in this one area of income alone. Leadership check match, the way I explain it in the presentation, is basically it's just a way to go out there and serve people, get paid to develop people, right? I think all of us have worked at a job before where maybe your boss was, somebody that you felt like you were more talented than or that you knew more than. Here's what I love about this is, you go out there and develop other people, you help them get paid more money, you make more money. Right? This is the cool part about it. And then obviously performance bonuses is based on performance. You go out there and build an organization, there it is. So a couple of things I'm going to give you just on the whole present. I'm going to give you 1%, because you write this down in your notes. This business, it's not so much what you do, but it's how you do it, right? It's how you do the how-to. There's certain times I can tell you where somebody might read the same 5 and 5 presentation, but they never took the time to listen. They never took the time to get to know the person they were talking to. They never took the time to show up half an hour early and do the salt and oil scrubs with everybody and get to know and build relationship and build rapport and just get somebody to like them, right? And I can tell you right now, right, people do business with people that they like. All right? Well, how do you get somebody to like you? People like people that are like themselves, right? Again, you got to mirror and match. In the presentation, you're going to find people mirror and match. Over 90% of communication is nonverbal, right? So it's your body language, it's your rate of speech, it's your tonality, right? If I'm talking to a person that's from the South and they're notoriously a little bit more Southern drawl, laid back, you best believe I'm going to be talking to them a little bit more laid back myself. I'm going to be just relaxed, right? And if I'm talking to somebody from New York and this person's, hey, get to the point, what's going down? I'm going to be, hey, leaning forward, what's going on? Now, again, if you talk like you're from the South to somebody from New York, they're going to be like, oh, this person takes forever. Flip-flop that. If you talk like you're from New York to somebody from the South, like, man, this guy's a jerk, right? You want to be able to go out there and mirror and match your prospect, know who you're talking to. The story of the Seacret's incredible. Get master telling the stories. If you want to become a great presenter, here's my best advice: model the great presenters. You know how I got great at presenting? I watched a lot of presentations. You know how I got even better at presenting? I did a lot of presentations. Right? People tell me all the time, Joe, I want to be a great presenter like you. I'm like, man, go start presenting to people, and then find out how you can get even better. And they're like, yeah, but if I could just get good at presentations, I'm like, well, that's like saying, Joe, I want to become a really good bike rider, right? But I'm kind of scared if I ride a bike right now, I'm going to fall down. I'm like, well, no, for sure you are going to fall down, but that's unfortunately the only way you can learn to ride a bike, right? I can give you theory, and I can kind of draw pictures, and I can show you hypotheticals, I can show you videos of other people riding bikes and talk about it. But until you start riding bikes, you're never going to know what it's like to actually go and learn from your own mistakes and actually feel the wind in your hair and be successful at it, right? So here's my best advice. Go fill up your calendar with presentations. That's the number one thing you can do to become a great presenter is a thing called learn knowledge, activity knowledge. The best of the best, right? Amateurs, people that are terrible at network marketing, and by the way, network marketing is just a reflection of everything else in your life. People that quit this usually quit most other things in their life too. And the reality of it is you got to understand the way to be successful, and this is the way to be successful with everything in your life. It goes from learn knowledge to activity knowledge. And then learn, what do I mean by that? Learn knowledge is where you are taking information in through a book, through a video. It's not through practice. It's study time. It's watching the greats. This isn't riding the bike. It's watching the bike riders. But then you got to take that. You can't just sit there with this new knowledge and let it stagnate, right? Benjamin Franklin says, let not your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. The only point of filling your head with all this good stuff is so that it can affect your life, so you can actually use it and do something with it. So this is the point, right, is take that learned knowledge and then get out in the real world and go test it and go look at it. Because here's what I can promise you. The video that you watched with me talking to you about representing, right now, if you've never done a presentation, the training that I'm giving you right now might mean some to you, might doesn't. But as soon as you start doing presentations, I promise you, you come back and watch this video. I'm sure it'll be archived somewhere. You come back and watch this video again, you're going to be like, dude, I never heard him say that. But I did say it because it's on recording. But the reality of it is it's going to mean something different to you. The same thing that you heard the first time didn't mean the same thing to you. Now you're hearing it in a different way because you're a different person, because you've gone through new experiences, right? I can tell you, and then once you go through that activity knowledge of going to the street and going out there and riding the bike, and you've got some experience under your belt, you come back to the learned knowledge, and you go, wow, this is a different presentation. I'm learning more. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. I can understand how that's going to affect my business a lot more. Then you go back out to the real world again, go back to the activity knowledge, and all of a sudden you're better than you were the first time, because the learning knowledge that you got the first time, which was probably honestly the same information, but you weren't ready for it, you get back out into the real world, and all of a sudden you're better. It means something different. You get better results. And all of a sudden now, you start to pick up some steam, and then you go back to the learned knowledge again. And it is this ladder. You want to climb to the top of the ladder of success? It's rung by rung by rung, and each one has a different label on it. One says learned knowledge, the next one says activity knowledge, the next one says learned knowledge, the next one says activity, and you climb up that ladder one step at a time, and all of a sudden you find yourself at the top, and they're asking you to speak on a Monday webinar, which is pretty exciting. But it's learned knowledge, activity knowledge. Now, last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to pass it over to Josh here in a second, and Josh, feel free to ask me anything else that you want to know. But here's the last thing I want to share with you in presentations, right? Is in your presentation, you're going to go through all the content. And by the way, relaxed intensity is kind of the mode you want to be. Mirror and match your prospect. Obviously, and that goes without saying that if they're kind of laid back and relaxed, be laid back and relaxed. If they're intense, go out there and bring energy to it. Now, closing, right? Everybody wants to say, okay, well, how do I finish the presentation? Here's the bottom line, guys, is I want to help you understand closing is something that everyone in the world does. Anybody who's in business, right? If you are in business today, it's because you have mastered the art of finishing a sale. Apple is not afraid to ask you to buy a phone. Apple has no problem asking you to buy their new Apple Watch, right? When I rode on my airplane here today to Phoenix, right, they asked me, Mr. Valenzuela, do you want to sit window or aisle? Right? They had no problem saying, oh, I don't know, I'm afraid to ask if you want to fly on the airplane. And I know sometimes, and maybe none of you watching in right now, but some of us sometimes have this hesitancy to just ask for the sale, and I can tell you, get over it, get over it, get over it, get over it. Here, let me just give you a couple of key questions, right? And the best closers in the world really aren't closers. They're not going out there and saying, hey, sign the dotted line. They're just asking the right questions to find out if this is the right fit for somebody. So here's the questions that I ask. Number one is, hey, now that we've taken a look and you've seen everything, what was jumping out at you the most? Was it more the products or the business? Right? What did you like best about it all? Was it more the products or the business? And whatever they say, if they say the products, I say, man, that's exactly what I said. If they say the business, I say, that's exactly what I said. I just agree with them, right? Do we love the products? Yes. Do we love the business? Yes, right? We're all agents here. You wouldn't be watching if you weren't. The reality of it is whatever they say, I love customers, I love agents, I love it all, right? So here's the reality of it. They say, I say, that's great. If they say, I like the products, I say, that's awesome. Do you see yourself getting involved as a retail customer as kind of a one-time thing to try some stuff out for yourself, risk-free, or do you see yourself getting involved as a preferred customer for the discounts, right, saving money, right? And I just let them pick on one of those. If they say, I want to be an agent, I say, that's awesome. And here, let me give you a 4-question close that I think will really help. If they say, I like the business, I like the money, really intriguing to me. Let me give you a couple things that will help you out a lot. Say on a scale of 1 to 10, right? 10 going, or 1 being you're just not interested at all. 10 being you're ready to get started right now on the spot, right? Where do you see yourself? It's a very relaxed way to just find out where they're at. Now, if they give me something like, a 5 or a 6, 5, maybe even 5 or 6, I'll say, okay, what would it take to get you to be an 8 or a 9, right? What would it take? Can I introduce you to some of the people that are actually making big money? Before you make your final decision, let's go out and let's go grab a cup of coffee. Let me show this to you, right? Come out to a regional event. Come meet some of our people. Let me introduce you on a Skype meeting with some of our top leaders, 3-way call, whatever it is. I'll help them move forward in the process. The best and the best, you got to understand, the average, over 80% of all the signups that you're going to get after your presentation happen between the 5th and 7th exposure. Most people do not sign up on the first time they see it. Amateurs in this industry, they're one and done. They go out there, they're great at making the first contact. They might even send them a video link or sit down with them. But over 80% of people don't get started on the very first time they see anything, and most people leave it at that. They never follow up. They never move them through the process. What would it take for me to help you get to an 8? Right? You say, well, you know, I'm not really sure. I said, well, how about this? If I was to help you introduce you to some of the top guys that are making money, you can ask them questions and see how they do it. What do you think that might help? Right? We're having an event. Bring them out to an event. If you don't have an event in your area, book a time to sit down with them, play with some more products, or go out there and do the 5 and 5 with them, whatever it might be. Get them to another exposure. Maybe it's another video. Say, hey, listen, why don't I send you this training video, or let me send you this product video, let me send you our manufacturing video. I just schedule anything to get another exposure in there to get them up. Now, if they are a 7, 8, 9, I might try to go for the, let's get started, right? And here's the way I help them get started. It's a 4-question close. I learned this actually from Mr. Josh Denny's mentor, Mr. Paul J. Meyer. And this gentleman was a billionaire, one of the most incredible gentlemen that ever walked the planet. This guy won in every category you can win in. Finance is actually probably the least impressive thing, and that guy's a billionaire, but he's just an amazing man. But he had this 4-question close. It was incredible. He said, number one, how much would it take to make this worth your time? How much money would you need to make in this thing part-time just to make this worth your time? Right? It's a great question. How much would it take to make this worth your time? Let's say they said, an extra couple thousand a month. Perfect. Second question he asks is, part-time, how many hours a week would you be able to invest into something for yourself on the side of everything else in your life? Kids, work, church, everything, family. On the side of everything going on, how many hours a week would you be able to invest into something like this for yourself? And I could probably carve out 5, 10 hours a week, whatever it is. Okay, great. Let me ask you this. How many months would you be willing to commit to give this thing enough time to start seeing that type of results coming in, that couple thousand a month? I said, well, I guess I'll give myself 2, 3, 4, 5 months, something like that. Okay, great, whatever they say. And then the 4-question close, right, is like, if I could, would you? This is the money close, right? I just repeat everything they said right back to them. Let's say they said $2,000. I say, if I could show you to make that $2,000 inside of the next 3 months, right, putting in that 5, 10 hours a week, like you said, is there anything else you'd have to know before you get started? And they say, well, I don't think so. I say, perfect, welcome to the team, right? You want to get paid, you want to get paid weekly or you want to get paid daily? Daily, perfect. Fill out your last name. Like, hand them an application, assume the sale. Go out there and just help them make a good decision for themselves. It is a good thing. Hand them an application. Don't be shy. Go for it. And that's the close, guys. And obviously the same thing with the customers. Find out, do you see yourself taking advantage of the retail product and obviously, risk-free, or do you see yourself saving the money of being a preferred customer, VIP customer, whatever it is. Boom. Josh, that's the quick and dirty on presentations. I know it's a lot of content, little bit of time here. Anything else in particular that you'd like to share? Any questions you have?
Well, man, I'm just going through my notes here, and you covered so much. I mean, you covered listening more than you're talking, telling stories, the customer program, how to deal with the customers, how to deal with the business, mirror and matching, how you got good at presentations, just doing them a lot and watching them a lot. Guys, there's so much in here. I'm taking notes. I'm always trying to get better. And if you're out there right now, you're learning. Because, Joe, you are, when I listen to you, I'm like, man, every time I hear you, I'm like, man, I would sign up. And that's the thing, and I bet there's a lot of people out there going, man, well, if I sounded like Joe Valenzuela, then my business would be popping. But, very few people had the opportunity to meet you when you first got started. And, the thing about you is you were always on fire, and you were willing to learn, and you were willing to go out there and do it, and that's how you get good. And I think you portrayed that so well. And I know I'm getting a ton of messages right now asking about whether this is up for replay. Yes, as soon as we conclude this, you can click on the link. And if I were you, that's what I would do. I would take notes, watch this over and over and over, and get it down. Get it down, and then most importantly, go out there and do it. So, Joe, before I let you go, this is phenomenal. I know you got the diamond meeting to go to. We have a few questions. Guys, if you're on the Basic Agent Training site there, this is a Seacret website, Seacret corporate site. Just type in the questions and your name if you could, so we know who you are, although you can remain anonymous if you like. But we're going to go to the questions with the names first, and then we're going to let you go, Joe. Just a couple questions here, if you don't mind. Because
Absolutely.
Man, this was, just action-packed content. You went through the whole thing, man. I'm telling you, anyone who takes the time to truly master this, watch it, rewatch it. By the way, Joe, do you have any of this material on your own site or anywhere someone can start to learn, get a little bit more content?
Actually, I have a training that I have. If you go to there's an advanced training there that they can download and they can have access to.
Can you repeat that one more time? Because
things like that as well.
I didn't get that. Joe, can you repeat that .com one more time?
Yeah, for sure. Secretstart.com. Just like we spell it, secretstart.com. There's actually two downloads on there. Just two downloads. They can hear how to present, which is great. And let me speak, Josh, to one of the things that you just said is you're one of the people that actually saw me be terrible at presenting. Not too long ago. And sorry, are you getting a big echo?
I'm not getting an echo on my end, but let me mute for you.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself while I talk. But I'll share with you guys the first time I was ever asked to do a presentation. It was my 30-second testimonial at the end of an opportunity event, right? And there was a very professional, seasoned, business builder who had done the presentation, and I finally had my debut, right? They came to me before the meeting and said, "Hey, you're going to be the guy that shares your testimonial tonight." And I had, I had only made, $1,000, and I was so excited about it. And they told me 30 seconds, right? And they were grilling me like, "Hey, 30 seconds is 30 seconds. Don't go, Academy Awards up here and try to share your life story. 30 seconds. Name, background, why you took a look, how fast, what it means to you now." And I was sweating bullets the entire presentation. I couldn't listen to a word the presenter said because I knew at the end of the presentation I had to share my story, and I was terrified because I saw there were guests, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." I get up there to share my presentation, and I'm so nervous. My very first presentation, I said, "Hey guys, my name is Joe Valenzuela, my background," and I forgot my background. Like, I completely forgot what my background was. And I just had one of those moments where, like, your brain just shuts off, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I swear, like, I'm just not a presenter. I'm not going to be a presenter. There's other people that are so good at this, and I'm just going to get my people in front of the great presenters. And truly, I can tell you guys, that's where I started in this business. That's where I started in this industry. I was not I was a construction guy before I was doing manual labor with my dealing, company. I was not a model speaker at all, but what I was is I was committed, and I was hungry, and I was dedicated to just getting strong in whatever I had to get strong in. And I can tell you, presenting is one of the essential skills of network marketing. It's not something that you can slack in, right? It's just one of those things that it's essential to your success, and you don't have the luxury of just being bad at it. And so the reality of it is I'm so glad that I started there, and Josh is one of the few people that can actually attest to how bad I was in the beginning. But it's not about where you start; it's about where you finish. And that learn knowledge activity knowledge is anyone can learn how to ride a bike. None of us were born bike riders. Doesn't matter if your dad was Lance Armstrong and the best bike rider ever. You still got to start like everybody else and learn how to ride a bike too. And that's the reality of it, right? Is none of us were born presenters either. It's one of those things where you, one foot at a time, you start with your training wheels on, maybe you watch some videos and you start like that, and then you get good at it and you get better at it and you get better at it, and then pretty soon you get pretty dang great at it. So, anyways, let's open it up for some questions. Excited to spend time with you.
Man, thank you so much, Joe. Real quickly before we go into the question and answer, just know, guys, this is about a 30 to 45 minute call each and every week, typically 45 minutes, and the goal is to get you that content. Now, next week we've got Josh Wiles. I know you're probably with Josh right now at the Diamond Retreat. Joe, I'd like you just to explain a little bit about why showing up consistently is important. I mean, this is a corporate deal, no matter where you're at. This is not team specific. This is Seacret, the company, and each week we try to bring the very best. Obviously, this was phenomenal. Next week we've got Josh Wiles, and maybe you could just give a little tidbit on what you learned about Josh and why it's going to be important to be on next week.
Okay, well, first off, really two questions that I'm hearing right now. Number one is, tell me a little bit about Josh and why Josh is so amazing, but also why is it so important to be consistent? And those are two different. I'm going to give you both. So first and foremost, let me talk about Josh. Josh, in or outside of Seacret, being in network marketing, you have a unique perspective because you just come in contact with so many more people than the average person ever does. Right? I mean, being a networker, as a professional networker, I mean, my Rolodex is huge, right? And I know so many people, and I can tell you, Josh Wiles is one of the most incredible human beings I'd ever met in my life, in or outside of Seacret, in or outside of the profession of network marketing. And it started from his heart. This is a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve. Literally, he has a heart tattoo on his sleeve. So he. But he's a Southern boy. He's out there in Greensboro, North Carolina, And he comes from that Southern hospitality. He's one of the most genuine, down-to-earth human beings. But not to take anything away from his success, he's an incredible business builder. He's on fire. In fact, I would put him up against anybody right now in the company, regardless of paycheck, rank, title, regardless. This guy's on fire, and there's nobody. I don't know if anybody's sharper than he is right now in the business. This guy's just literally on fire. So I mean, yeah, you want. I mean, I can tell. Now that I know that Josh Wiles is going to be speaking next week, I'm promoting the heck out of this thing, because if you want to catch your entire organization on fire, just put them in front of Wiles. That's it. But let me speak this to you, right? I was just in Fiji, and Josh asked a really good question of why is it so important to be consistent. And there was a gentleman who was speaking when I was in Fiji. I was at this event in Fiji. And I had the privilege. This event that I was at in Fiji, it was a private event. It was about 80 people from all over the world that got flown, and it cost over $10,000 to be in this room. And we got mentored by some of the best in the entire world. The first half of this event was on health. The second half of it was on wealth. And on the health side of it, we had the #1 cardiovascular surgeon in the world, Dr. Gunther. This is the gentleman who invented. There's a certain procedure in heart surgery called the Gunther procedure. He's the guy that invented it. So you're kind of a big deal. He was like the head of the American Heart Association. He was the president of Loma Linda Hospital. This guy's like absolutely amazing. And then you start getting the guys like Paul Tudor Jones and guys. The guy I was talking about who made $10 million every single day last year. And here's what's so fascinating about what all of these people had in common, right? On the health side of things, they said, you are what you consistently do to your body, right? What you consistently do, and that's just fascinating. And they said your finances are what you consistently practice in your finances, right? And it's fascinating, right? And I want to put that in context for you because, right, I have days where I will go out there and I go to a barbecue. I'm about to go to a barbecue right now, and I eat like crap, and I go out there and I have a little bit too much to drink, and that happens to me every now and then. I'm a human being, right? But I don't do it every day. I'm not consistently eating like crap and drinking too much, right? In fact, what I do more often than not consistently is I actually eat pretty dang good, right? Over the course of this last 2 weeks, I tell you guys, for me, I was in Fiji, and I learned more in 12 days than I've ever learned in 29 years of my entire life. I lost 15 pounds in 12 days. And it was fascinating, right? Because you realize it's not so much what you do, right? But it's what you do consistently. And I realize, right, it's the same thing in your finance. If you're the kind of guy who splurges and you spend a little bit more than you earn, you know, and you have a day like that, you know what? You're not going to ruin your entire finances. You can go to Disneyland with the kids and go crazy for a day and go splurge. But if you do that consistently, you will absolutely derail your financial life, right? And it's so fascinating, this concept of you are what you do consistently. And that was something that was grained into my head over the course of these 12 days from the best and brightest in the world. And I've realized that the only reason why I've been able to experience the success that I've had in network marketing is I was more consistent than anybody. I wasn't better. I wasn't smarter. I didn't necessarily even actually outwork some other people. I just was more consistent, right? While some people might work harder than me for a short period of time, I outlasted them. I made it to every event. I was so consistent, I just outlasted, right? And it was like, I kept coming and coming and coming and coming, and I was like, learn knowledge, activity knowledge, learn knowledge, activity knowledge. The reason why this is so important for you to show up to, not just tonight. I'm sure, even if you're a veteran in Seacret, there was one thing that you got out of tonight that was like, you know what, I could get better at that. I could focus on that a little bit more, right? And if you're brand new, there was a lot of stuff that went over your head, right, that you were like, man, this all sounds good. And I can tell you, you are what you consistently do. I'm going to be plugging and listening to Wiles next week, right? And it's not because I haven't been around. In fact, I've been in network marketing longer than Wiles has, but he has a different vantage point than I do. He has a different perspective than I do. He's, you know, it's amazing, right? Where many hands makes light work. It takes a village to raise a child. There's a million different sayings for it, but every single speaker that gives you is going to give you something different, right? And not every single event, not every single video, not every single webcast is going to be life-changing for you, But unless you commit to making every one of them, you're going to miss the one that would have been life-changing, that would have been the breakthrough in your business, that would have been the difference maker. So I'm telling you, consistency is the key. You are what you consistently do.
Thank you, Joe. All right, man, just a couple questions here. I know you've got to go, but there's a lot of ones coming in that are good. Brad M. Hey, Brad. Brad's saying, how do you explain the investment as far as the packages go if they just don't get it? And as in, like, why do I have to invest? But when that is approached you, how do you handle that?
Here, the first thing I usually do is if I get that question, the first thing I do is I laugh. And I just kind of ask them, like, hey, have you ever heard of anybody that's ever started like this? Every business on the planet requires some type of investment in order to be in it, right? I would love to just get handed and be one of the owners of that, but unfortunately, anybody who owns a restaurant or a gas station or a service store, like everybody else, in fact, the only people who don't have to invest are people who invested. So if your goal in life is to work for somebody else who invested, then by all means don't invest. But if your goal is to actually be an owner, be an entrepreneur, and dictate your own life and your own pay, then investment is required, right? So and that's the first thing I would just say to them is, hey, you know what I mean? The bottom line is everybody invests. This isn't like a foreign concept, right? And then it goes back to like, hey man, like, so what are your, what are your goals? 5 years from now, if you're doing what you're doing right now, is that going to be exciting for you, or what is that? Hopefully that helps, Brad. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. That's brilliant, Joe. Thank you so much. Next question is, can you please repeat the fourth question? Apparently I wasn't muted and it was causing some disturbance. So what you asked right after 7 out of a 10. You're asking the scale, on a scale of 1 to 10, and then when they say, I'm 7 out of a 10, what's that next closing question that you ask?
For sure. I'll give you guys a heads up real quick. I am at 1% on Miss Betty Perez's laptop, so if I cut out, I love you guys like crazy, and I apologize. But the quick 4 questions is, how much would it take to make this worth your time? Right? How much would you need to make this worth your time? Number 2 is, how many hours a week would you have to invest into something like this for yourself? Right? Number 3 is, how many months would you be willing to give yourself to actually, see that type of results coming in, whatever they said they need to make per month. And then 4 is, I bring it all together, and I said, if I could show you how to make that much money, working that many hours per week, within that many months, is there anything else you have to know before you get started? Now, notice the way I asked that question, right? It's easier to get somebody to say no than it is to get them to say yes. So by asking, is there anything else you'd have to know, they say, well, no, right? And if they say no, they're really saying yes, I want to be in the business, right? And so it's like, no, there's nothing else I have to know. Say, perfect, welcome to the team, let's rock and roll. So that's really the name of the game is those 4 questions, and I bring it all together. And if I could show you how to do that, anything else you have to know, perfect, let's rock and roll.
Thanks so much, Joe. I know you're about to die here. Just want to thank Val for asking your question, Siobhan, Erica. Thank you guys so much. I know there's a lot of incredible comments. Everyone's loving it. Guys, just because of time, thank you, Paula. Let's let Joe go back to the Diamond meeting. Send us the questions on Facebook. If you really know, send us questions on Facebook. We'll answer. We'll help you. Joe, you've been phenomenal. I can't thank you enough for taking your time and investing in the community here at Seacret. I think that's what makes our community so amazing is, we're pooling our talents together to really help one another kind of elevate so we can build this just phenomenal community. You're someone I respect tremendously, Joe. Thanks again.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You guys enjoy. Miss you, brother. Later on.
Miss you too, brother. See you soon. Hey, guys, this webinar is officially over. See you next week with Josh Wiles. Bye-bye.